The 16-bit Road Rash titles remain some of my favorite line-scrolling racing games of all time. The controls are tight, the combat is fun, the music is catchy, and the track design always gives a great sense of 3 dimensions. From the rolling hills to the tight turns, these games give a realistic sense of screaming down the highway that few titles of the era could match. Road Rash's first foray into the 32-bit generation came with the 3DO, PlayStation, and Saturn versions of the game. Road Rash felt nearly identical to the Genesis games, with higher color counts, smoother frame rates, and some 3D backgrounds. It was a nice upgrade, but still held back by its 2D roots. The next iteration of Road Rash would be a PlayStation exclusive titled Road Rash 3D. This is actually the very first Road Rash game I'd ever played, and I absolutely loved it from the first moment I played it. Road Rash 3D is a complete reimagining of the series. The graphics engine is all new, as are the motorcycle physics. More importantly, the 2D line-scrolling road surface is finally gone, and in its place, a true 3D world. At last, your motorcycle actually feels like it's riding in 3-dimensional space. The tires feel like they are connected to the pavement. Also, unlike its predecessors, there is an entire road network all interconnected to each other, rather than simple point-to-point tracks. The game manages to squeeze in plenty of variety too, with some journeys taking you from the mountains to the deserts to the beach, all in one 15-mile stretch of highway. Road Rash begins with a choice between 4 bikes, divided into 4 categories: Race Replica, Sport, Rat, and Cruiser. Each has stats in speed, acceleration, traction, and durability. The price point of each seems skewed to the top speed. Next, you must place 3rd or better on each of the 12 courses to progress to level 2. Not every race is available at all times, however. As the tracks take place over a highway system, there is some logic to which tracks are available depending on where the last race concluded. The racing itself is genuinely fun and challenging. Road Rash games prior to 3D often put a greater emphasis on the combat system. Road Rash 3D offers a ton of new items like batons, chains, 2x4s, bats, cattle prods, etc., but they all effectively work the same. Sadly, the combat is mostly useless. It takes a good second before pressing the attack button before your character performs the action. It's not a delay per se, but an overly complex animation taking forever to finish. I don't really mind the de-emphasis on combat, however, as the racing is mostly excellent. The tracks offer a really great blend of speed sections, tight turns, and aggressive elevation changes. Combine this with oncoming traffic on 2, 4, or even 6 lanes of traffic, and you have a tremendous amount of variety. The controls do leave a bit to be desired, and are far too twitchy at low speeds. Road Rash 3D seems to compensate by offering steering via the D-pad as expected, but also leaning using the left and right shoulder buttons. The steering and leaning feel pretty much the same, and I abandoned them completely as the game progressed. At regular speeds, the controls seem to settle down, and you are able to quickly move in and out of traffic along with the pack of motorcycles you're racing against. In all honesty, Road Rash 3D is a ton of fun. The races all have a good length to them, and I really dug the progression from level 1 tracks to the level 2 tracks. Unfortunately, I find level 3 to be brutally difficult, to the point where I couldn't place in the top 3 on any of the courses. I'm no slouch at racing games either. Road Rash 3D is simply too fast for its own good. The track design and traffic patterns weren't designed for the game to move this quickly. A few crashes later and your bike is busted, or you're pulled over by the cops, or you take it easy and finish near the back. The game simply fizzles out at this point, and it isn't worth progressing. It's a shame the final third of the game is not playable, but the first 2/3 make up for it. The graphics are great for a PlayStation, with surprising draw distances and very dense environments. The soundtrack fits the game well, with a few notable artists like Sugar Ray and Kid Rock. Not bad. Finally, it wouldn't be a CD title without some full motion video, and Road Rash 3D delivers in spades. There are plenty of quick, full motion clips when you win, lose, or get pulled over by the cops. This was a great feature for the Genesis originals, and they are really fun to watch. There's also a lot of background chatter on the menu screens between races to make you feel like you're at a dive bar. The presentation is terrific. Overall, Road Rash 3D isn't as perfect as I remember it back in 1998, but it's still a fun little romp. The graphics and sound hold up well today, and the cheesy 90s full-motion videos are still enjoyable to watch. If the game didn't fall flat at the end, I might even put this up there with some of Sega's best arcade offerings of the 90s. Instead, we're left with an above-average racer that is certainly worth a go. 3 out of 5.